All right, we need to do a critical sector update on Enterprise SaaS because the week of January 21st, 2026, that wasn't just another week of trading. No, that was the moment the massive promise of AI collided, and I mean violently, with a much, much harsher market reality. For the last 3 years, the market has been running on a pretty simple story that AI would be this frictionless accelerant for software companies. More growth, better margins, easy expansion. But the data we just got tells a completely different story. It's way more complex, and for some of these companies, it's proving to be brutally deflationary. The AI honeymoon is officially over. Okay, so let's get right into the core thesis here. We're calling this the Great Re-rating. What does that mean? It means the market is done with the press releases. It's done with the hype. It's now demanding to see the money. It's asking one simple question: can you actually make money from AI? And depending on that answer, the sector is being torn in two. So let's start digging into the evidence. First up, the companies whose entire business models are now being threatened by AI's efficiency. And this isn't about AI creating new revenue. This is about AI destroying old, reliable revenue streams. Let's start with a number that should really make you pause: $130 billion. That's the staggering amount of market cap that has been erased from SAP's valuation since its peak. Investors are waking up to a terrifying new reality for this ERP giant.
And look, this isn't just the whole market going down. Sure, the software index is down, but SAP's drop is way, way deeper. That points to what we call an idiosyncratic risk, a problem unique to them. The market is seriously questioning the core economics of a legacy software titan, and these numbers show you just how bad it is.
And here's exactly why. This quote from Angelo Maida just nails the service value deflation thesis. For decades, SAP's competitive advantage, its moat, was its complexity. You literally needed armies of expensive consultants billing by the hour to get it to work. So what happens when AI can do a huge chunk of that work for a fraction of the cost? Your moat just evaporates. This deflationary threat isn't just for the old guard either. Let's look at HubSpot. For most of last year, the stock was basically held up by rumors that Google was going to buy them. Well, when those talks officially collapsed, this is what happened: a 23% cliff dive. The M&A safety net is gone, and now investors have to look at the actual business. And what they're seeing is a company in what we'll call strategic isolation. I mean, think about it. HubSpot's whole business is inbound marketing, writing emails, creating blog posts, SEO content. This is exactly the stuff that generative AI is best at automating. Without a deep-pocketed parent like Google to fund a massive pivot, HubSpot is facing a real existential threat. Now, not every company is getting deflated like that. Some are trying to adapt, they're trying to pivot. But that pivot comes at a brutal, brutal cost. So let's shift focus to the companies being forced into these painful operational moves just to fund their AI dreams. Which brings us to Workday. They just laid off 1,750 employees. This isn't just trimming the fat, it's a major reorg. And as you can see from this chart, it comes with a massive price tag, a financial charge of up to $270 million. This is the upfront cost a company has to pay to shift capital from its legacy business to its AI future. And here's the crucial part. This isn't just about cutting costs. Workday was very clear. They're still going to hire in key areas. What you're really seeing here is a headcount rotation. They're swapping out their generalist sales and legacy maintenance folks to free up the cash they need to hire the incredibly expensive, very specialized AI talent you need to even compete today. Now let's talk about Salesforce. They've got a completely different kind of pivot pain. It's a customer revolt over their new pricing model. Their new AI, Agentforce, runs on these things called flex credits. So the customer buys a block of credits, and every time the AI does something, it uses up some credits. Simple enough, right? But here's the kicker. If the AI messes up, if it hallucinates or fails, you still pay. The credits are gone. And this is the result. This quote from a real user on Reddit just perfectly captures the frustration. Customers feel like they're being taxed just to be beta testers. In the old world, buggy software wasted your time. In this new consumption model, buggy AI wastes your time and your money. That is a huge barrier to adoption. So this pricing friction is a real problem, but there's something even bigger, something that can stop AI adoption dead in its tracks: a complete and total erosion of trust. If you can't be sure your data is safe, then absolutely nothing else matters. Which brings us to Oracle. The company spent the week in a total fog of war over a massive, alleged data breach. On one side, you've got a threat actor claiming they stole 6 million records. On the other side, you've got Oracle's official statement, which very carefully says that Oracle Cloud wasn't breached, strongly implying this was all just customer error. But the timing here is just critical. Right as these breach claims are surfacing, Oracle rushes out a patch for a maximum severity vulnerability. Now, whether there's a direct connection or not, the optics are just terrible. For a CIO, the technical details don't matter as much as the headline. The trust is damaged.
And to see the ultimate trust gap, we have to go back to Salesforce. A report surfaced that one of their Agentforce AIs accessed a confidential internal-only document and then shared it with a customer. I mean, this is a CIO's absolute worst nightmare. It proves the security boundaries are porous, and it can freeze AI adoption on the spot.
Okay, so we've seen the deflation, the high costs of the pivot, the trust deficit. It's a bleak picture. But there is a counter-narrative out there. So let's pivot sharply and look at ServiceNow, a company that is taking an aggressive, offensive stance in this AI race. Yeah, instead of playing defense, ServiceNow went on total offense, announcing a massive expansion of its partnership with OpenAI. And look at the details here. They're getting preferred access to the next-gen GPT 5.2 model. They're building agents that are designed not just to summarize things, but to actually take action. And they're building an app store for other companies to build agents on their platform. This is a full-stack strategy to become the AI control tower for the entire enterprise. But here's the paradox. Despite this brilliant strategy, the stock is down almost 13% year-to-date. Why? Because when you're trading at a PE ratio of 75, the market has already priced in perfect execution. ServiceNow is what we call a show-me stock. The vision is incredible, but investors are really skeptical, and they are demanding to see the revenue before they're going to reward that vision. So let's put all this evidence together. The conclusion is pretty clear. The AI honeymoon is over, and the enterprise SaaS sector is now clearly and painfully splitting into two very distinct camps. And this scorecard really says it all. You've got companies like SAP and HubSpot facing high, maybe even extreme risk from AI's deflationary power. You have Salesforce battling high-risk adoption friction because of its pricing. Workday is stuck in the middle, paying a heavy price to pivot. And then you've got ServiceNow with a fantastic strategy, but a valuation that leaves absolutely zero room for error.
So we end with this question. The old growth-at-all-costs era of software? It's dead. The new era of agentic efficiency has begun. And as we've just seen, the transition costs in jobs, in market cap, in customer trust are proving to be far higher and far more painful than anyone really anticipated. The key question for the rest of 2026 is, who will ultimately pay that price?